Well, when it comes to Chelsea, Liverpool, we're accustomed to entertainment. But with changes all around and Liverpool in something of a slump, can this weekend's clash live up to its former top billing? Well, with me to talk tactics and tips are bet butlers Nigel Seeley and Tom Bartlett from Reuters Sport. Gents, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Once again, let's start with you, Tom. Tough games in midweek for both Chelsea and Liverpool in Ukraine and Russia. How much of that do you think is going to actually affect this game?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. It could do. I mean, any time there's travel involved, any time European midweek games, look, it's the way the competitions are. It's the way the Premier League is. They've got to get used to it. You make a good point about whether this will live up to some of the billing, because obviously, in the past, Chelsea Liverpool's been one of the great matches of the season. So, not so sure whether this is going to be a classic, but it's an important one for both of them. They both need to keep chipping away, particularly Liverpool, to get themselves off that mid-table.
Okay, and Nigel, if Chelsea can cope with Suarez, Liverpool can't score.
That's it. I mean, it's all about Suarez. He was absolutely unplayable at the weekend, wasn't he? I mean, the thing is about the travelling coming back from Russia. They rested 9. They left 9 of the first teamers at home, so it's not going to be much. There's not going to be much of a problem. The team that took the field in Russia on Thursday night is not going to be any reflection of that which plays Chelsea. They usually have a good record against Liverpool. Have a good record against Chelsea, but they seem to raise their game, Liverpool, against the bigger sides. When they play the Chelseas, the Man Uniteds, the Arsenals, they always do well. It's when they're at home to Stoke and Norwich, they always come a cropper for punters. So, on paper, you would turn around and say, yes, Chelsea looked too strong, but I don't know how much mentally that game took out of them on Wednesday in the Champions League, because that was a fantastic game of football, end-to-end, 90th minute winner on such a high. And I tend to find when teams have big highs, whatever it is, in every sport you follow, when they have a massive high, they usually want to oppose the following week. So even though they're short prices here, Chelsea, I think tread very carefully. I think for some reason, there's something about it. I think that Liverpool might get a draw out of this.
OK, let's move on to Man City and Spurs. Tom, Man City in Europe all over the place, but they're still unbeaten in the league, and they haven't lost at home since a 2-1 defeat to Everton in December 2010. Any chance for Spurs?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it?
Because I'll just set you up here.
Yeah, it is. I mean, in both of them, talk about challenges for both managers and challenges for. Manchester City can't seem to buy a win in Europe, but they seem to be able to chip away at the league. I mean, I give Tottenham a chance. They've got their issues, and whether Adebayor plays and whether they can put that all aside and get points remains to be seen. But it's a tricky one, and I think City will be pretty keen to put things right from midweek. So. Yeah, have a look at them.
I'm full of stats. Nigel, Spurs have won their last 3 away games, not too difficult, but they haven't won 4 on the bounce since 1989. City likely to put an end to their winning streak?
I think the draw is a possibility here. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I really do. Man City can't concede. You can't have the goal going for the Premier League title and your goalkeeper be man of the match every single week. Tottenham, the big loss for them is Dembele. I mean, they've got rid of Modric. Dembele's come in, probably a better player for me. I think Dembele will be potentially a better player in the future. But I just think it's a big loss for them, and the creativity in midfield is where they're going to lack it. The trouble with City at the moment, he doesn't know his best team. That's his problem. I mean, up front, he's got 4 or 5 people. They were winning games with a swagger this time last season. They're conceding too many goals. And 8-13 may make appeal, but people would have said that about Man United when they played against Tottenham. And all the stats suggested Man United win there and Spurs when they've done a job. I think that Tottenham are very similar to Liverpool. When they play these bigger sides, they raise their game and they play well. When they're at home to Wigan last time out, they get beat. So if it's a bookie, I'd be happy to take on Man City, and I'd go for a high-scoring draw. I think 7-2, the draw represents a little bit of value.
OK, our third game of the week, Arsenal-Fulham. Tom, Arsenal pretty hard to fathom at the moment. Good start to the season, woeful against United last week. Tricky prospect?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I do. I think, Fulham particularly have shown in the last few weeks with some of their results quite high-scoring matches, not always winning. But they seem to be able to find the back of the net at the moment, Fulham, and that's a problem for Arsenal, because if they can't halt the goals, then the draw might be the best they could hope for. So, yeah, I think it's a tricky prospect. But having said that, Arsenal at home, again, after what happened midweek for them, perhaps there's another opportunity there to put things right in the league. OK, Nigel, we're going to put you on the spot now. You have form with Fulham. We're going to hopefully show a clip on live television of you with a mere 66-1 bet on a 3-3 draw with Fulham. Hopefully we can see how you reacted positively.
Just a quick one, just to let you viewers know that if the bet butler tips a 66-1 shot, he's going to get... Oh my God! It wasn't even planned. It wasn't free.
There's been a girl at the Madejski Stadium.
Now, there is a man who's pretty keen on what was going on there. So you have form with Fulham. Only United and Chelsea have scored more than Fulham this season. Arsenal the meanest defence in the league? I mean,
yeah, I don't have. The thing is, Nigel, I don't have form with 66-1 winners. That's the trouble. That's what my bank manager says. Anyway, I think on paper you could make a case for Fulham, but Fulham are so strong at home. That's their fact. If this was a home match, I'd make a case for Fulham. Away from home, they're very, very poor, and they've never, ever won a game at Arsenal. Last year, I had a serious bet myself on Arsenal to win this game, and it was a 0-0 draw, if I can remember. I thought rightly, or it might have been a 1-0. It was a draw. I know I lost anyway. But the draw here would make appeal, but Arsenal again look too short at 11-20. That's about 1-2. You could make a case for Fulham, but I'm just going to sit on the fence here and go for the draw again. I think the draw makes a value. Fulham have drawn their last two games, obviously 3-3 and 2-2. I think for Arsenal, the team news is vital. I think he's got to start Walcott. He has to start Walcott. He's back to form.
He's saying everything's wonderful and rosy, but the papers are saying absolutely the opposite.
Well, I think he must be stalling a contract to see where he goes in the January window. But he has to start Walcott if he's going to give himself any chance. He needs pace. Where Fulham are dodgy, their centre-halves, Angle and the big lads. But when he get pace at them, they don't like it. And that's what he's got to play Walcott. Giroud, I think they can handle all day long. But I think if Walcott plays, Arsenal will win. If he's stubborn enough to play him on the bench, I think it'll be another.
Is he not more dangerous on the bench?
I don't think so. I think not the form he's in. I mean, the amount of goals he scored, is he 5 goals in his two plays? 4 goals. I think you've got to start him. And if he does start him, they'll win it. If they don't start him, I think it'll be a draw. But I can't see Fulham winning. Fulham's away record in the last few years has been abysmal. So they get a few draws, but best thing for is a draw.
We'll put up the remaining fixtures on the screen in just a second. Just how do we make some money at the weekend? Not on these three main games. We can see it. There we are. Where do you make money on these games, do you think?
Well, Southampton-Swansea just looks total goals. You just got to be over the goals. I mean, every Southampton game you involved, there's always goals, and at home they're so attack-minded, it's unbelievable. Swansea will go there and fancy themselves to win that game, so there's goals in that game. Not like the Stoke QPR game. That could be an absolute 0-0 or a nil. But yeah, there's no way there's going to be any goals in that game. So under 2.5 goals there. I think Everton will be too strong for Sunderland, and that's the Villa-Man United game. You've got to fancy Manchester United. But for him, the best bets for me at the weekend would be over 2.5 goals in Southampton-Swansea and under 2.5 goals in Stoke QPR, and even have a little bet on
and Mr. Carroll at Newcastle for his new team.
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever Carroll plays, people always like to back Andy Carroll to score the goals, but I'd much rather back Kevin Nolan score the goals because he makes such an influence
more
for
regular
him.
At the moment.
Yeah, when he comes in from his knockdowns, he times his runs to perfection. So. I haven't been impressed with Newcastle this season. I think they're a team that could struggle the second half. I think Alan Pardew on his 8-year contract, and he thinks his job's safe there. So I think they've sort of taken the foot off the gas a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised there could be a little bit of a shot there. I was impressed with West Ham at the weekend, but the Saturday's games, Southampton, Swansea and Stoke QPR, I'll be having my bets this weekend.
OK, gents, thank you very much indeed for that. That is it for another week. My thanks to Nigel Seeley of Bet Butler and Reuters' Tom Bartlett. Well, more Premier League action next week when Arsenal battle it out with Spurs to prove who's the second best team in London. I'm Nigel Stevenson. This is Reuters.